everybody. Hope you guys are doing well. Hope you guys can hear my audio as well. Good times. Last day of Sacrifice. Can you believe it? Day 19, and man, has the drama happened. I've said this. I've said this all the way along, didn't I? I didn't know how it was going to happen exactly. There was obviously only a couple of options how it could happen, but we're going to check that out later on. Of course, let's go for gold and get into it. So basically, we're on day 19, Sacrifice. I'm just going to double check my audio, make sure my audio is up and running. Just a moment while I check that. Nothing worse than talking when you haven't got your audio running. Yeah, the audio looks good, so very nice. Hey, we've got a few people in the chat here. Before we get started, let's read out some of these things. Hex Curious, Axion Token member. Hey, always appreciate that. Thanks, Hex Curious. Feel the pulse, ladies and germs. Ladies and germs, note that. And the Hex Pulse dude. Hey, bud, looks like I'm first in the house. Go Pulsechain. Looking forward to hearing your thoughts, mate. Hey, much appreciated the Hex Pulse. And cup it up. Do you think Hex will pump in the next 4 hours? Possibly a little bit, maybe. Cosmos Gemini, another Axion Token member. Big shout out. Whoop whoop. And hey Superman, hey everybody. And Matt G's in the house. Yo G. And Business 2K. What's up? What's up? Yeah, nice one. And Cardano TV locked on and listening. Hey, good to see you in the chat there, Cardano. And Matt C, audio is good. Audio is good. Mic check. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Very cool. And audio is good, says Gemini as well. Hey, well, there's been drama. I haven't actually been able to check a lot of the news flows or this or that in the morning, but so I'm just going from cold, just looking at the numbers themselves. So we've got 5 hours and 3 minutes to go in final day 19, where there's a flat bonus rate of 1.75. And the actual rate, let's have a look what the cost is. It's going to be, if you want to get 10,000 points, it's going to be $1.98 per 10,000 points. And of course, the volume bonus on top of that is 1.75 flat. Whatever, it's going to cost you almost $2 for 10,000 points, multiplied by 1.75. That's what that means. Basically, you're going to get 5,000 times 1.75 if you per $2. Basically, that's what's that. Let me rephrase that. You're going to get 10,000 points per $1.98 at 1.75. So sorry for having that one in. There we are on the white line there, day 19. We're at the end, folks. Only a couple hours to go. So if you're going to get your sacrifices in, you need to do that. And that's pretty much that. Let's quickly scroll down, see if there's anything new on the channel. Nothing I can see. So that's good. Let's jump over to the results. So this number seems to be changing around. So I'm not exactly sure why that's been changing around, but it's suddenly at 670 million. Your guess is as good as mine. It is based on the Ethereum chain and Sends and Staker app. So pretty much it. And let's have a quick look here. So we're counting it down, almost finished. Can you believe it? This is amazing. This is the end of this first phase, Sacrifice, and so forth. So let's have a quick look at the trend on here, the performance chart. And of course, we're going to go down here. We can see that on final day. So yesterday we did 8.26 million on the ETH chain. And then now we're up at 9.72 with 5 hours to go. 9.72 million, 5 hours to go. But, there's a big but, B-U-E-T, B-U-E-T, big but. So we're going to check that out. But before we do that, let's have a quick look at the leadership board, because we like to do that anyway. This is sort of the organic, what I call the organic leaderboard. You'll find out what I mean by that in a second. So we've still got the same leaderboard, the top 5, Overwatch, and then the Godwell underneath there. And let's see how many millionaires we've got on here. This has been moving around a bit, so I'm not sure whether they've been changing their numbers or what. We'll keep going down here and see how many we've got. So 75, that's the same as yesterday, but we're up to 78, 79 a couple of days back, so I'm not exactly sure what's going on there. Let's have a look at top million. Top 100, 779,000. So basically $780,000 to get in the top 100 there, based on this data here. Obviously, we're going to have to wait for the final data set from the actual sacrifice process to see how that plays out. Let's just do the top 1,000 before we get on to the big but with the sacrifice amount. And let's go scroll down here and see what the top 1,000 is. So $81,502 to get in the top 1,000. Let's have a look at the top 5,000. This is a bit chunky with the data, so it takes a little bit longer. I'm gonna have to be patient with that. Cardano TV says tips coming out of Pulsechain Sacrifice, minimum of $100 from multiple wallets to get future airdrops as a Genesis investor, Genesis investor. So yeah, so we've already done that. Cardano TV, we've already sacrificed a bit of money on a number of wallets to get exactly that. So good there, tip there, Cardano TV. Carpet up, 5 hours OA address, just put $1.5 billion in Hex. That's the big but. Nice one there, Carpet. You basically ruined the live stream, but that's the big but. We've got already the OA moved. I've been talking about it for many days. That what's the OA going to do? Richard Hart, one of his fundamentals is concentration, right? He always talks about that. When's the best time to buy crypto? At the beginning, when Satoshi had all the Bitcoin. That's the sort of idea. And so now the OA is going to have the Pulse. I was waiting for it. The Pulse is going to have the fundamentals with the concentration power in the Origin wallet. Is going to be controlling that, so pretty awesome. Carpet Up says, sorry, my bad. It's all good. Carpet Up one. I'm only kidding. All right, I'm not. I'm pretty easygoing. Everybody that knows me knows I'm pretty easygoing, and I was just teasing there. All right, so pretty cool. And so there we are, folks. We're at 9.76 on here. Let's have a look at the actual sacrifice. Oh, actually, we've got to wait for the 5,000 update. Let me do that first at the bottom here. So 11,865, getting the top 1,000 based on this data set on the Ethereum blockchain. But let's jump over to, I've actually gotten the title. I've got the thumbnail, Circa 750. But now that the Origin wallets moved, that number's just gone up to the billions. And of course, we know that the more billions are in there, the more Pulse coins. I don't know how many trillions it's going to be. I mean, I'm just doing the numbers on that. Is it going to be something like 35 trillion or something? We'll see how that goes with the Pulse tokens. It's going to be a massive number now. Anyway, so we're going to check that out. So here we are. We're sitting on the actual ETH address, which is 62 CB. You're probably all familiar with that now. And look at the value in there now. Almost $2 billion. And is that a magic number that Richard wanted? 2 billion. Maybe seems so. So $2 billion in there. And is that the number that's going to be marketed? Obviously, EOS did $4 billion. And now we've got $2 billion, basically, or more than $2 billion in here. It doesn't include all the Bitcoin and all the rest of it going in there. So interesting number indeed. And of course, we were expecting the OA. We were talking about that many times on this channel. Obviously, we said it's probably going to happen at the end. It has happened at the end, but it's happened from the liquidity pool. So it hasn't happened by buying on the market. It's just happened from the liquid amount, which we always have said that the amount of liquid OA wallet had is 544 billion, and that was based on Gunther, the accountant, from his analysis 2 months ago. And we looked through that spreadsheet, remember, if you recall, about a week ago or something, and 544 billion in the Origin wallet. That's what gives the big market cap for Hex. Also controls the supply as well, and obviously gives the, a certain amount of managed fundamentals. So there we are. So we're sitting here. Look at this. We jumped from about 3.25 billion up to 15, almost 15.1 billion Hex in the sacrifice. Amazing jump. That's the OA move. That's the big move. That's to control the supply of Pulse, and that's the way. Also to lift the value as well. So it controls the supply of Pulse and lifts the value. And remember that the Origin wallet's going to get all that Pulse over on. All that Hex that it's holding is also going to get the Hex on Pulsechain as well. So it's not just getting all these Pulse tokens; it's going to get the P Hex as well because it's holding all the stuff. It's just a circular money go round. That's all it is. So, but we were expecting it. Talked about this many times on this channel. The one thing I couldn't see was at the current time, how was Richard going to control the supply? When he didn't have, when it was only the Genesis wallet. Remember, it says it's going to get 1%, and so this is now the Origin wallet's now going to have a controlling supply of the amount of Pulse tokens. Also, the Pulse tokens total supply is going to be huge now, like even bigger than it was. Like I was expecting it to be somewhere between, 15 and 20 trillion. It's going to be way higher than that now. It's going to be pretty interesting to see those final numbers. How I made it, nice move by Richard Hart, lol. Yeah, David Gomez, epic times ahead, says David. Cardano TV, a sacrifice to yourself is not a sacrifice. It's a recycling manipulation. So wonder what the SEC will make of that move. Yeah, that's what it is. It's a cycling, but it's also a fundamental feature of Richard's approach, which is back to that concentration. Carpet up 2 billion in 17 days. That's right. And Cardano TV, so stock buybacks illegal now too. Was it stock buybacks So anyway, it's pretty much we were expecting it. So Cardano TV, so we were expecting that. This is the play, and it's basically made. There we are, folks. So worth 667,000 ETH now, 1.75 billion. Now, obviously, it's going to make the whole thing valued up now. So 750 million was awesome, but now we're talking about over 2 billion. That's going to sound pretty good for marketing, as well as valuing up the chain. So I guess it's ultimately good, but now you got all the small pulse out there too. But once again, if it becomes like an Origin wallet, it will just sit there pretty much and value the chain up massively. So we'll see how that plays out in terms of price fundamentals. You know, we're obviously, if we were before, when with the amount of tokens that we had at around about 16 trillion or something, we were valuing it up at around, if it matched Ethereum, it would be about 1.7 cents was our target. So we're going to have to change those numbers around. And of course, 100x was around about about half a cent, just under half a cent. So we'll see how that plays out in the future, for sure. Let's have a look at our USDC. We've got 145.7 million, 34.4 million in DAI, and 26 million in Tether. So that's also in the war chest as well, if you want to look at it like that. So what's that? We got what's that? 50, 60. That's about 206 million USD just in there alone. And obviously, this doesn't include the other stuff. Now let's have a quick. Let's go back and actually look at when it happened, when the OA decided to move from the Origin wallet addresses. It's only some of it, of course, that own 544 billion X liquid, not to mention the 13% of the staked amount. And let's quickly go. I think it was 13%, just to double check that. But here we are 5 hours ago. This is when the move happened. All right, this is when the move happened. The last one was at 5 hours 36. You can see 141 million move in there, and then you can see just huge numbers, all double or triple digits in the billions. Sorry, in the millions, and just keep flowing in there. 5 hours and 37 ago. This is on the Hex address, so that's what we're looking at the moment. And you can see it's on page 21. So if you want to go check that out on the Hex address there. And we're just going through, and you can see them all just flowing in. There we are. Look at them all coming in from the OA wallets, just coming in about 5 hours ago, and they just keep on coming in until there was about 3 till there's about 12 billion from the OA wallet coming in into the addresses. Look at them all just flowing in there non-stop. All these big numbers here from those addresses, and I guess it just keeps going on until it gets to 12 billion. That's pretty much it. So just keeps flowing on page after page of these big numbers coming in from the Origin wallet. Look at that one, 231 million Hex. Just keep flowing in there. And whatever that was, it ended up being about 12 billion. So pretty huge. Good night, TV. I'm a Hexagon OG, so I understand. But numbers like this smell bad for a large audience. I thought this time he was trying to onboard a wider audience. Yeah, that's going to have a bit of that, but we did expect it. Cardano TV, I agree with your points. I'm just going to say that we did expect this to happen. You know, I was talking about concentration. Where was the concentration? Because that's one of Richard's fundamentals. So I guess it's done now. But I do agree with that sentiment. Cardano TV, just saying it's from an outside point of view, and it's from the outsiders we need to onboard and believe in the project. Yeah, well, that's true, but as we know that Richard considers the concentration of this as fundamentals, and obviously also you know, on the other side, he's got, you know, it's ownership as well, right? Central ownership. How I made it? Well, no one can prove RH owns anything. That's true too. Cardano TV agreed. Maybe the very best move he can make from the project, but many will be skeptical of that recycling for OJ wallet, whoever owns it. Well, yeah, we all know. Everybody knows. All the OGs. If you've been to the beginning, like many of us have been following Richard for years, right? Well before Hex launched, and we know all the everything. We've watched it all. You know what I mean? Like, so you have just to take it as it is. I guess ultimately, as it gets pumped, people not to care too much, do they? At the end of the day, it was part of the fundamentals. Matt C, he had to wait for the whole whale rewards finished, I'm guessing, before he could move the liquidity over. That's agreed with that, Matt C. But how I made it, people can enjoy EOS and ADA using their ICO monies to market their project. Yep. And Richard has never claimed to be the OA. Well, he's not going to do that, is he, Jonathan? Hey, Jonathan, welcome, of course, Axiom Token member. Very cool. And Hex Curious OA, going to hold and never sell, ensure price appreciation. Sign me up. Yeah, that's the thing, isn't it? that's the thing, isn't it? Hex Curious, that's the pumpamentals. So no one really cares what the OA does as long as you know the bags get pumped, right? So that's ultimately how it plays. How I made it, I wouldn't want to claim it either. He's too smart for that. Yeah, well, that wouldn't be a good thing for anybody, including existing investors, if he ever did that. All right, he's not going to do that, of course. But interesting stuff. So that was the high drama. So we got it. We got it at the end of the day. I've been talking about it for weeks, saying, "Oh, this is some of the scenarios." Remember, I've been going this scenario, and of course, many of you out there have been thinking the same thing. When's this going to happen? When's that going to happen? But the different ones played out, and this is the big play. Now back to the market thing here. Hex is currently 11.77 cents, obviously at the bottom of that range, but it actually holding up there pretty well. Did dip below 11 cents earlier today, got bought back up. Now we can actually see the impact of the OA going down. It was a 570 billion sitting there for quite a long time, and now it's dropped down the liquid circulating amount down to 558.88 billion. So that's the difference. Is pretty much that 12 billion that got transferred into the Pulse Sacrifice, and that puts the Pulse Sacrifice up at 2.377%. So there we are, folks. 2.377. But of course, that's not the differential we've been talking about, right? Because we already took into account a lot of that stuff. So hilarious stuff there. We always took into account that the Origin wallet was excluded as an active liquidity. So that's really that 4.8% that we started off with was really everybody else. And then, of course, which was about 27 billion 2 months ago. And then, of course, we were looking at a squeeze of that by individual investors, not the OA, which we consider a feature of the pumpamentals, as it were. And so we were expecting that to go down to about 4.3% or something, because we actually got up to about 0.51 or 0.52% organically, probably 0.52%. And so that moves it down 0.5%. But of course, stuff coming out of the staker class moving up to probably about 4.5%. So the Origin movement, you don't really include that put of the 2.377 sacrifice. Hey, but it's cool. Once again, it gets sacrificed, but it's still, the market cap doesn't change, right? Because it's still owned by the sacrifice address, which is arguably the same as the OA wallet, just different project, right? So fun and games, all good. Pumpamentals are still in place, and that's ultimately, as an investor, that's what you're looking for, is that pumpamentals is going forward. So pretty cool. We've got staked amount 60.49, so not really much change there. Stake percentage 9.534%. We have seen an increase in staking, which is pretty cool. People obviously staking to get ready for the Pulse public net happening there. Pretty cool indeed. What have we got? 56 million in V2 USD and 30 million in V3 USD. So pretty cool. Everything else looks pretty similar. T-shares down, obviously, because the Hex price is down, but the share rate keeps going up. And APY is 38%, which is pretty normal at the moment. Pretty interesting stuff. Let's quickly go to the chat there. The Hex Pulse dude, is this move disappointing? This means the Origin wallet is the main winner now. Is that right? All of us little guys get so much less now, and it will go to 100,000x. Will take so much more. So the way that will work is obviously you won't get any less pulse because it's just based on the dollar amount. So it's just basically the amount of pulse is going to be even bigger, inflated. Will it take a bit harder economic energy to get higher? Probably, in my view, but we'll see how that plays out. I still think it's going to be pretty good, regardless. Property review, it really depends. Market cap doesn't really matter. It's really how can you get that price pumpamentals. So that's going to be the interesting play. I'm still not completely sure. In Hex, it was quite obvious at the beginning how the Hex was going to pump. If you were at the beginning and you actually read everything about it, you could understand how it was going to pump. But with the Pulse, it's a little bit more vague. Hopefully, we'll get a bit more information over the next few weeks because you want to see how you're going to get that more supply off. It is deflationary, but that's going to take time, that deflation effect, because when Pulse launches, it's going to be all the inflation up once, and there's no more inflation. There's no 3.69%, and it'll just slowly deflate with the transactions. Now there'll be a lot of transaction throughput and all that sort of stuff, but it will take a time for that to actually impact the total supply. But then of course a lot of that will be inside the Pulse. It's going to value it up. The market cap's going to be way bigger now to start off with, so that'd probably be pretty cool too. And of course the capital raise pretty nice. So we should still expect a pretty good pump, pretty good X's on that, in my view. The Hex Pulse do you think maybe EHEX will now probably go right down to zero when PHEX starts? Nah, I think that EHEX is going to do pretty well, but I do expect a premium on Pulse once it settles down. Maybe not at first, but once it settles down, I do expect a premium on Pulse. I still think EHEX will do well. How I made it now OA can be used for LP. Yep, true. And connectivity doubling market cap means double economic energy needed to move market cap from 5 to 10x. So yes, he's diluted the potential for max gains unless he uses the pulse to pump the mother. I agree with that there, Cardano TV. Probably use all that PLS for his version of Uniswap. That's true too. And obviously Uniswap's going to be there as well. He's talked that many times. Obviously that you're going to need that to swap. It's going to be a bit of a market maker, and then you're going to need people to actually buy and sell. That will just start setting the market price. It's going to be pretty volatile at the beginning, as you can imagine. Probably volatile up north, going north though, and then that will settle down pretty quickly as people sort of start costing that out. The other thing, of course, is Uniswap will be there to swap out all the pairs. It's going to be pretty crazy stuff. Still wondering if best to stake my liquid EHEX or leave as liquid. What are your thoughts, mate? Well, you're kind of locking in your T-share amount, so that's probably pretty cool. Once again, though, if you want to speculate on what's going to happen with PX, then you could just leave it there and see whether you make some mad gains on that, because it could overshoot. It may not even get close to the relative cost of EHEX. Remember, they're going to be different on each chain, so it's no anyone's guess at the moment where that's going to be. But I do tend to think that PHEX will price as a premium over EHEX. ETH has Uni BNB, has Pancake PLS, can be called Hex Swap. Yep. Well, we've got Hex Swap in the mix too, don't we? On the ETH chain. So we're going to see where that what that ends up doing as well. All right, let's quickly go. So there we are, folks. So pretty dramatic stuff in there in those the last 5-6 hours. But the play was made. The play was made. We were expecting. I talked about concentration. Where's the concentration of ownership as one of his fundamentals? And obviously, the 1% was not good enough in the Genesis address. So what I'm referring to is the Genesis supply up here. When I'm talking about that, let me just scroll back up. Where is it here? A Genesis address gets 1%. That's this one here. Genesis address gets 1% of the PLS supply at launch. It will not benefit you and may waste the coins in any way it wishes. So we're still waiting to see what that's going to do with it. Of course, going to be pretty interesting. That 1% is going to be even bigger now with the sacrifice address. Obviously done more. So pretty interesting. All right, so let's keep moving, and of course, let's go over to the price. Here's the price of Hex at the moment. And you can see that did actually drop down. There were some sells at just under 11 cents, and then it's back up now, almost back at 12 cents. We've got 4 hours to go, or 5 hours to go. I think it's just under 5 hours to go, and so we've got 1, 2, 3, 4. So just in this is when it's going to end. So we're going to get a bit of a price lift there. At the moment, we've got a bit of an uptrend, so we might see a little bit of a price up increase. Now, will we sell off afterwards? That's the question, and I think that's a reasonable chance of that, to be honest. So let's have a look at the daily. Not to say that it won't be bought back afterwards, just because obviously people are going to want Hex for the fork. So when the fork comes up, but we still haven't got the public testnet yet. So we're waiting for that. That's supposed to be out this week. Hopefully we'll get it. And I did notice that Richard's last live stream, he said, that, let's not be in too much of a rush. Obviously he needs a bit more time to get everything up and running, is the way I'd look at that. But yeah, we're still probably on that 30 to 60 day time frame until Pulsechain launches. So I wouldn't, get too excited about that. So yeah, we'll see what happens today. But we could see a bit of a sell-off after the close. I wouldn't be surprised at that at all, especially with the trends a little bit sad here. But when we get the fork, whenever that is, after the public testnet, that's when we could see another price rally there as well. And then obviously when the Pulsechain launches as well, we could see potentially another one as well. But really the fork's going to be the main one, because that's when you're going to get your copy over off that. Cardano TV, the Genesis address is actually the Rolex address. Yeah, nice one there, Cardano. You reckon a P-Hex will dilute E-Hex? No, well, I know that Richard wants expensive Hex on both chains, so I don't think so. Richard's the general. If Richard is the general on the battlefield, then I think he's going to try and make that the case. I just think that it's going to end up being a premium of P-Hex over EX because of the cost of the S-load function. That's just the gas fees really, and the speed, I guess. Speed's only a minor component. We got 4 times faster, but it's actually going to be even faster than that, right? So it shouldn't be too bad. All right, so that's pretty much it. Let's have a look at some of the comments Richard's been making in the last sort of 19 hours. There's this is 19 hours ago. There are 24 hours left to be part of the airdrop by donating to the Sense Foundation. Keep an eye on the Pulsechain.com clock. If you plan to donate through SRF, please be sure to view our instructions for donating. So that was some time ago now. Shout out to all the people on Twitter that pretend to support longevity, yet have been totally silent about the $27 million we raised for it and are now going to miss the last day of the fundraise. This means that you, calling out some people, you're out of time. That was 14 hours ago. And then 14 hours ago, all talk. I guess this is, not sure what this one is at. Mutable Money, Infinite Frontier, Eternal Life, Bitcoin. And then, of course, supporting crypto startups. So aging is a disease. We may be able to cure it. That's funny. These guys make me laugh, to be honest. That's pretty funny. All right, time's running out, bro. Says Lex Friedman of all people. So that's pretty funny. And I don't know if I've watched a few of Lex Friedman's videos. They're okay. You're a hero for giving 8 million. Says to Vitalik. Hit them again, you billionaire. You email airdrop. So that was pretty funny. And of course, Ethereum flips Bitcoin market cap flipping. Talking about that happening at the moment. So that was pretty interesting. There's not really to do with Pulsechain much, but you know, it's a lot of stuff about Bitcoin. Flipping, and of course, Ethereum flips Bitcoin market cap flipping, and EIP 1559, so the London fork coming up pretty soon, actually. Was it in 2 days? A day? Yeah, but something like that's pretty soon. You can actually check out the old clocked countdown as well on the block. That's going to be, I can't remember the block number, but it's pretty big. By the way, I think this is all a bull trap and a buy, rumor, sell the news event. I think the price of Ethereum will dump hard in 2 days when the London fork actually goes live. And then pro tip: some skip paywalls by mashing escape rapidly after the page loads. Not sure what that's about. Ethereum, which one do you think more likely? ETH 3x price or a friendly fork of ETH 30x's in price? Interesting, you got 30x's in price. That's interesting. You must answer in a short few hours. Pulsechain.com. So interesting there. And yeah, it's just double up that post. And then you are in a return to normal. BTC drops 85% every few years. Last cycle BTC dropped at 20,000, dropped to 10,000, then bounced to 70,000, a bull trap, then 3K. Here's the last cycle overlaid over the cycle. That divergence is probably a bull trap, little late. So got a few of these in there with the old price pullbacks. Some charts there, so you can check that out. And what else we got here? I think that's pretty much it. So just he did not a lot about Pulse, but a little bit about Sense Foundation, and then some commentaries on Bitcoin and Ethereum and the London fork coming up. So yeah, and that's it. I think I had one more to show. Yeah, so we're circulating supply 573. So ultimately, it hasn't changed because obviously that 12 billion's gone into the sacrifice address from the Origin wallet. Current address is 320,000. Yes. That's pretty awesome milestone, 320,440, and we got 300. That's up from 319,743. So that's actually a bit of a jump. So we've had a nice jump in the last couple of days of those dresses. What's that, up about 700 or something? So very nice. That's a really good increase. So that's what you want. That's the economic energy right there. More investors, more wallets. As I say, you've got people staking longer. You've got liquidity squeeze on, and you've also got more wallets. That's the holy grail. That's the holy grail, and it's going nicely to play out. Now, obviously, we had some increase in staking again too in the last couple of days, and that's what we saw, that staking amounts increased. But we're still sitting pretty 9.533%, and that means the staker class is doing even better in my view. It's looking good. So if you believe in Hex, then you're going to be, in your stake, you're going to be doing pretty well, I think, over time. Let's quickly look here. So we've got M Line. Hey, when do you get the Pulsechain tokens? Probably going to be when Pulsechain launches, is the case. I'm not sure what's happening to non-Ethereum addresses with their Pulsechain. Normally, I thought they might have to be claimable, but it's probably just putting in the Pulsechain network on your MetaMask or something like that, and then opening up your wallet, and you probably have an airdrop to Ethereum once. But I'm not sure what's happening with non-Ethereum. If anyone knows in the chat, let us know. I haven't heard Richard say anything particular on that. Matt C, oh yeah, and Richard we trust. Just curious, says Matt C. Yeah, for sure. SKB, hey SKB, good to see you in the chat there. Another Axiom token member. Appreciate your support of this channel. Elvis has a pulse. Yeah, Elvis has a pulse, right? How I made says this was a good thing about having centralized money control in a company. He's going to use all the capital he created to make this a top 1 to 2 coins. Enjoy the carpet ride. Boys, yeah. So Magic Carpet Ride, wasn't it? How I made. So Richard's termed out of the community termed the coin Magic Carpet Ride rather than a rug pull. And of course, we've seen how successful Hex has been, and of course, Pulsechain setting up as well. With that, as one of the fundamental features is concentration of ownership. So that's where that's being played out. Yeah, market Magic Carpet Ride. There we are. We're going to enjoy that. Business 2K, lol, whoop, whoop. Yep, definitely whoop, whoop on that one. And Hex Pulse Dude, what are your thoughts on the whole market crashing? Per Richard's thoughts. Well, it could play out. We've seen that. This is still, I think, in a bearish trend. So I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. I still consider us in a bearish trend. So Richard's probably a bull trap makes more sense than a double top type of thing. So it's probably worth it on that. How I made, if so, it's normal. Once we hit lows, prep for all-time high again. Well, the good thing is that we've got high prices while, let's go relatively high prices while the sacrifice has gone on. That's been a good thing. Wasn't at the beginning, of course, but in the second half sacrifice, the markets managed to do a nice little bounce as well. If so, it's normal. Once we hit lows, prep for all-time high again. Yeah, that's true. We'll see how it plays out. Of course, it's not inevitable that will necessarily go down to a 85 sort of percent correction, but markets tend to do that as we've seen. Let's have a quick look at good old Nomics as well. While we're here, I'm just going to close out some of these other sites. And we can see that Hex sitting at 67.82 billion at the moment, so not really a lot of change there. And Ethereum at 303 and Bitcoin at 730. So you still need a doubling of Ethereum to outdo Bitcoin, unless of course Bitcoin keeps dropping and Ethereum keeps rising. Of course, is the other way to do that. That's pretty much it, I think. How we're doing? 33 minutes, not too bad. All right, so that's going pretty good. I do think it's going to be pretty exciting though. And I just think we have to be a bit more patient with the time frame. Obviously, the next thing's coming up with obviously 4 hours and 32 minutes until we finish this day 19. I think we'll get a bit of a surge at the end. That's pretty normal in terms of that. Will that impact the price a little bit? May get a little bit of increase on the Hex price if that's the main sacrifice token. The other thing is that we might get up to 12.5 cents, 13 cents maybe. And for temporary, but that could have a sell-off afterwards. You know how markets work; they like to do that. But of course, when the fork comes up, that should give another rally because people want to hold those tokens to get the free Pulse P-Hex on the other side, or whatever other tokens they're holding on the ETH chain copied over. And that includes all the non-ETH sacrifices, all the people that sacrifice non-ETH that may have some economic energy doing that too. The other thing, of course, we've got public testnet. Hopefully, we'll get it this week sometime, we've also, after that, the fork, and then we've got the obviously Pulsechain launching, and then the airdrop will be in there. And like I say, I'm not exactly sure what's happening with non-Ethereum sacrifices, but airdrop's an airdrop. Originally, I thought they'd be mintable, and they may be, some of them may still be mintable. And we'll find out about that. Hopefully, we'll get more information from that. The other thing is that once we have that, obviously we're going to have a narrow bridge between the ETH and that, a fiat gateway via that by the ETH means, and then over into the Pulse pair, and then we'll start getting some real the market maker will help, and then people start buying, and then it will filter through to all the other tokens. People are chasing down all the good ones, so like P Uni, P Trust Swap, all that sort of stuff, whatever the tokens are. we could also see a bit of a rally in the project tokens that are going to be developing, have already announced they're going to be developing on Pulsechain, which includes several launch pads and other projects. So we'll see how that goes. Now, interesting thing that Richard said. So people talking about, what are the two copycats that Richard talked about that may not be included, as well as some other tokens. And originally, there could have been 4 different tokens. Probably two of the obvious ones were Axion itself, which is the main token I promote on this channel, and obviously Wise token. They both CDs or certificate deposits. Both have share rates like Hex, but other than that, they're very different. They have different coding. They have different products on top of them. Like obviously Axion has wrapped Bitcoin dividends. Hex doesn't have that, and Wise has BNB airdrops on their Wise B network in US dollars. So those are very different features. But Richard talked about the other day, said that there's still a while to go before the public testing at launch. So still he said sort of said maybe up to 2 months, something like that, which is kind of our time frame. And he said we've got plenty of time to think about it. He says they may all be on there. So he actually sort of changing his mind a little bit about that. So we just don't know now. It's really up in the air whether pretty much all tokens will just be copied over and keep it nice and simple. So we'll see how that actually plays out. I thought it was pretty interesting comment there. That Richard made on that one. So interesting stuff. All right, how I made it. CMC already listed Pulse with no data yet. Lol, and they won't be able to gatekeep this project. Yeah, that's true. How I made it. Tom says thought the Sacrifice wallet has over 1 billion. 670 million is before last 3 days, right? That makes sense there, Tom. But I'm pretty sure it was higher yesterday. I'm going to go back and check my video from yesterday, but I'm pretty sure it was actually higher up at 685. So I'm not sure what's happened with the values there, and maybe they've gone back and recalculated it back to the volume multiplier, which is probably a good idea there, Tom. Thanks for that one. It's a good one. Yeah, display error says how I made it. Yeah, so it may just be like you say, may just be reflect that. It's a little confusing. Not sure if there's any announcement we made on that. Like I said, I haven't been able to go around and check to see any news updates on that. And Tom says check out Sacrifice Wallet and ETHScan. Yeah, we did. We've done that already. Pretty dramatic. Let's have a refresh, of course, see what it's at. Oh wow! Nice one there. Wow! Thanks for that. Thanks for that, Tom. Wow. Okay, it's just gone up even more. Oh my God, an Origin wallet is amping it. So how much does the Origin want to control? 85%? I don't know. It's going to be interesting. How much of the Pulse does it want to control? That's crazy. Okay, 2.5 billion. Wow, up $500 million. And of course, the Hex is now up to 19.4. Wow. Okay, that's awesome. That was live too. Thanks for that, Tom. It was a good heads up. Let's refresh this page because obviously we're going to see the circulating supply move down on this one. This is actually 554. It's still got the same number. It's probably update soon. I would suggest. Seems to be taking into account that. How I made it, it was around 713 billion last time I checked. Then now it's 670. Yeah, so it's a little confusing. But as Tom says, maybe no, as someone said it there, up there that yeah, Tom said it as well. So nice one there. Wow. Okay. So let's go back to the first address here, and this is actually on the Hex contract, and we'll check out what's going on here at the moment with this. This is crazy stuff. Crazy. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, of course, hit the bell for more. We're going to be coming Pulsechain on this channel for a long time to come. I've already done about 20 videos, right? So check that out as well. Let's get into gold here. If you want to become a member of the channel, of course, hit the join button. 4 different options there: elites, heroes, krakens, and axionites. Get in there, help support the content creation. Pretty cool. All right, so if I look here, so we're scrolling down. Here we are, folks. So this is 3 minutes ago. A whole ton more of OA wallets coming in and sacrificing this 126 million. Most of you out there would love to have just one of these wallets, right? 131 million, 127. This is the Origin wallet, and obviously it controlled about 544 billion of the liquid Hex on Hex, so pretty huge, and that's what gives the big market cap that we can see on the old nomics, is because there's so much in the liquid, but it's basically an active liquid, just sits there. and that's what gives you this big market cap. So wow, big move. Let's refresh again. Who knows how much? Because all you have to do is do the percentage and say, oh, it's up to 255 now. So all you have to do is percentage, and then you can sort of see how much of the share approximately that the Origin wallet's going to be. I imagine it's going to be pretty similar to the OA, as my guess. So let's just do the quick number now. We can probably just do a quick number, and let's go 19.5 minus 3.25 approximately. So let's say 16 divided by 19.5, and that's already up at 83% of the hex sacrificed approximately. So that's a pretty similar number, right? So it's going to be interesting to see how high this gets, and that's going to be a number that's probably going to be publicized around that plus the non-ETH stuff, but that's starting to pale in comparison to this now. You made what, 40 million, 50 million tops compared to this 2.5 billion. So pretty big moves. How I made, 122 million from OA just sacrificed. Yes, this keeps probably flowing in, but how high is it going to get to 90%? How high is it going to get to? So here's the last one here. So those are the last ones 5 minutes ago. We had quite a few flowing in over the last few minutes. 8 minutes. Look at them all. Boom, 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 boom. Look at that all. Woo-hoo-hoo. Big party time there, folks. That's like the last 10, 11 minutes. And we'll check the next page as well. Yep, just keeps flowing in there. Look at them all coming in. Bam, 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 bam. And pretty amazing stuff. So that's definitely maybe going at least up to 85% of pulses from the looks of it. That's the sacrifice what they want centralized ownership. Pulsechain Hex to the moon, yeah. So basically the same fundamentals, concentrated ownership. Theoretically, if it follows the Hex thing, it will be inactive and also increase the market cap when it actually launches. So whatever the market prices it up to be, it's going to be interesting to see that as well. Remember, there's no share rate, there's no T-share price, but there is deflation. So fundamentals are different. But it is a fork of the Ethereum chain with a system state. But once again, it will be competing against Ethereum, of course. It will be competing against the BSC chain. It will be competing against Polygon Matic. It will be competing against Cardano. So some of the heavyweights there, especially when Cardano 2.0 comes out with the super advanced contracts. It's going to be competing against all that. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. But of course, ETH 1.0 is really struggling to get ETH 2.0. So that's a real big issue. But Richard keeps talking about being a complementary to ETH, of course. And the big thing for me is that you own the keys, you own your coins, and you can't do that on Polygon Matic. You take on the added risk, which is significant, right? If you don't own your keys on that one, and I like Polygon Matic, but it's just you take on that risk, which is pretty major. And of course, on the ETH chain, you got higher fees, and you got often slower transactions, and you got the S-load function increasing the cost of loops, and that really impacts smart contracts and staking contracts in particular. So you got lots of that sort of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. Although the functionality of the smart contracts is really, the sort of the first level blockchain, blockchain 1.0. So it does have some of those limitations on it for people wanting to do more advanced stuff, which is probably where Cardano comes into play when that eventually gets its smart contracts out. So it's going to be interesting stuff to watch, folks. SKB FOMO says SKB, absolutely FOMO. I think it's going to be pretty exciting, regardless of the structure of the fundamentals. I think it's going to be pretty good. Good FOMO, says SKB, absolutely. Damn, 3 times 1.20 million from different ADI address to sacrifice. Yeah, so I mean, we can just keep refreshing this, I'm sure. I expect it, maybe it's going to go up to 90%. What do you guys think? Let me know in the chat there. I think it's already up to something like 80%, maybe 83%. That's just based on the hex. Obviously, we have to scale it a bit for non-ETH sacrifices, but only by a little bit compared to how much is going in there. Look at this, boom, 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 boom. So I think he's going for 90% at least. 90% at least. Can you believe it? Interesting stuff here. So it's been played. We talked about this for weeks. Remember, saying, what's the strategy? And obviously, the war chest has not been touched. So that scenario didn't play out. Where it might spend something like 15 million to push the price of Hex up. But who knows what that US dollars amounts over, and maybe $250 million all up if you include the other stuff. Maybe it's definitely pretty high. What's going to happen with that US dollar amount? Because a lot of the smaller tokens got converted to USD. See, obviously Hex was not going to be sacrificed, meaning that there's less Hex in the market. So what's going to happen to the price of Hex really is going to be interesting. Rich is basically he sends the signals. He says it in very simple terms. I want Hex to be expensive on both chains. So that's interesting. And obviously he wants Pulse to be expensive too. He says, imagine a world, he says, where Pulse, Hex, and eHex and PHex are number 1, 2, and 3. Hey, let's watch the master at work. And although some of the things might be, controversial in terms of the pumpamentals, it does pump. It does pump. So we're going to watch out for that too. It's going to be pretty interesting. Obviously, nothing on this channel is investment advice. You got to do your own due diligence, just for entertainment and information purposes. But I hope you guys enjoy that. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. Hit the bell, of course. Hey, and good to see SKB in the chat there as well. Very nice. Hey, ex player, Play 500. Hey, I appreciate the super sticker. Big shout out to you, Player 500. Hope you're doing well as well. Going nicely. So very cool. All right, so we're at Business 2K. These exciting times. It is exciting times. Obviously, I think it's exciting for so many reasons, and we were expecting this today, and to see it actually happen in some form or another is pretty hilarious as well. So it's pretty amazing. Yeah. So now we're not only do we have the OA wallet, we now have the sacrifice address controlling a pretty big part of the liquid supply. So that's going to be interesting as well. Fun times. You can keep refreshing this. I think it's going to keep going up until at least it owns 90% as well. It's going to be pretty hilarious to see that. We're up to 21.2 billion. When's this going to stop? That's the thing. When's it going to stop? That Origin wallet can send X there for a long time to come. So it's going to be pretty hilarious. Let's refresh the Pulsechain. Let's refresh this as well. As we go. So we've got 4 hours and not updating there, but we've got 4 hours and 18 minutes to go to the sacrifice. If you are going to sacrifice, you want to pick up some Pulse before it launches, this is the time. Obviously, it's going to cost, today is the most expensive time, 1.98, but you do get a flat multiplier bonus of 1.75, which would have been better than some, around this area possibly. So you just got to do the math on that. Obviously, day 2 ended up being the best day to enter, best Hex price if you're using Hex, and $1 for 10,000 points. So it was typically the best day to enter on there. Mike Marcus says, what's the total amount in US dollar sacrifice at the moment? Well, we're saying that the numbers have been changing around. This has been changing around. So we were sort of thinking that was around about circa 750 million USD. But now with the Origin wallet sacrificing, that it's blowing up to over it's heading towards 3 billion. I'm wondering, I don't know how much of is he wanting to own 95%? If he goes 95%, is he going to try and outdo EOS? You see, you say, the sacrifice was, remember, EOS was 4 billion. He could get to 4 billion easily. Really don't know how. I imagine he's going to go somewhere between 85 and 95% at the top. So we'll see. Because remember, the 5% is the holy grail, 5% liquid amount. But really, you need the liquid amount's holy grail, but you still have to get the actual individual investors to squeeze that down. That's really the number that counts. Yeah, I mean, interesting, folks. Man, oh man, it keeps climbing up as we're going. Because this was at when did we start? Was it at 2.1 billion? Now it's already up to 2.8. While we're doing a live stream in the last 50 minutes. So when's it going to stop there? I'm just refreshing it again. Yeah, heading up pretty big. Wow. That's going to be fun to see. How I made it, RH not doing a live stream because he's busy. Yeah, nice one there, how I made it. That's very funny. Lyle says business okay. Player 500X says, do you think it's going to pump and dump like most coins at launch? I've said that for some time. This is what I think it's going to do. It's going to do the classic crypto thing. It's going to all get priced up from zero, go up like this, and we're talking about Pulse in particular, up like this, then back down, and then up over time. And the reason why it's going to have this, it's going to probably have parabolics later on as well. But the reason why it's going to go to a certain level is because everybody that's sacrificed as a cost entry. So that gives a bit of a price floor. But we know even with price floors, markets can push it below the price floor temporarily. A bit like when Hex launched on the 2nd of December 2019, it was up quite decent. Then it bottomed out in price on the 4th, 5th of January 2020, and then it just kept going up in parabolics over time like that. And remember that Pulse is deflationary, although that factor will take time to play out. But excuse me, there's lots of different features that will happen as well in it. So we don't know. He's got lots of game. He's got some secret sauce. He's got some things up his sleeve. It's got a war chest in USD and obviously controlling influence over the total supply. So there's lots of different gamification features there that got to play out yet. And so we're going to see. It's not going to be exactly the same as Hex, but it's got some of the basic fundamentals as Hex. So it's going to be interesting to see that. How I made it, I think so. A lot of people anticipating that and have some cash on hand, then pump back up. Yeah, how I made it, I think that's the play. And I know a lot of people that are doing exactly that. How I made it is having if there is this big move and then it pulls back to whatever the people are going to try and pick that bottom before it moves up over the long-term value. And that long-term value is when you're going to make the big X's, in my view, right? So that's that people are going to try and pick that bottom and pick up heaps of pulse at that stage. So it's going to be interesting to see that play out. Player 500X, are you going to try to trade your pulse or just hold it? I'm personally going to try and hold it, but others are going to try and trade it and maybe try and sell the top and buy the bottom and then ride the top up again. There'll be a lot of people doing that, but that is quite hard to do. We'll see how I go. It's always about controlling that plan. But if you can sell the top and then buy the bottom, then yeah, that's pretty cool. I will think about it depending on how quickly this top goes. How quickly that top goes and what happens with there. Then I will anticipate a pullback. So we'll see how that plays out. Once again, there is the 200, there is the sacrifice USDC. What is that going to be used for? That could be used for many things. So it's sort of a wild card to see exactly what happens with that. Business 2K, sideways for a while, then parabolic is my guess. Yeah. I'm just going to hold and have some popcorn in that chat. Yeah, nice one, how I made it. I think that's the kind of the safer thing to do. Just hodl, shake it naturally. Says C3X, absolutely. How I made it. Nice to hear RH going on a hiring spree. He's doing so much work for us. We should all pitch in. Yeah, that's true. So he's been pretty tired. He's been working hard. He's obviously, he's a leader, and so he's leading a team. He's hiring people. He really has got a vision. Remember, his vision is this: that he's going to have Pulsechain. He's going to have Hex as a CD fundamentals. He's going to have a MetaMask of his develop an own MetaMask, and he's going to have a fiat on ramp. That's his 4 pillars of changing crypto, dominating crypto, in those. So it's going to be pretty fun to watch. Leonardo Rivera, hey, nice name. Will OA's purchase of Pulse be removed from circulation when Pulse is up and running? Well, they can obviously be the #1 validator or validators. They can actually, control a certain amount of the validators being so big. So that's the one thing that's one of the implications. And of course, if you want to get stake Pulse to earn some of the share of the fees, then you have to stake with the validator. So yeah, it's probably going to control a certain amount of the validators, I imagine, if not all of them. So we'll see how that plays out. Actually, it may be all the validators. It may voluntarily decide just to do 75% of the validators. There's going to be about 33, 35 validators, something like that. So we'll see how that goes. But yeah, good observation there, Leonardo. And so it may stake a lot of that, and because it's not the same as Hex, whereas Hex, the staking depends on there being less staked. So if there was only 1% of Hex staked, it would be 369% APY. But if there's about 10% staked, then that's about 36% APY. So at the moment, it's about 9.5%, so it's about 38, 39% APY. But it's not the same, and this is not a staking. It's you're basically earning a share of the fees. Rather than interest and penalties and stuff like that. So it's going to be interesting to see that, but it may just stake a lot of it. Obviously, if it's staked, it's out of the circulating supply, so I imagine a lot of it will just stay inactive. If they want a big market cap, they'll just leave it inactive, just like they do in Hex, and then that will give a big market cap. once you get that price appreciation, because inactive liquidity is just as good as staking, right? Except that it's actually better, because at least if you're staking, you're getting the returns. So it might be a bit of a combination like it does on Hex. Hex has about 13% or something like that of the staked amount, so it might do something similar to get to control the validators and get a lot of the fees and earn money that way. So it's interesting stuff there. Thinker says, gonna stake soon as I get airdropped. Yeah, I think a lot of people are going to do that too, Thinker. And of course, if you believed in Hex, if you just staked it, you would have done the best outcome, right? If you'd been trading Hex, you would have done worse. Even though you could have made some decent bags on different parabolas, because it's had like 7 or 8 parabolas or something, you would have done better just by just staking it and making it. So yeah, definitely. Jonathan Navarro, hey, good to see you. Dollar signs coming out of that tongue. Nice one there, Jonathan. Jothan, sorry, I must say. How I made it, PLS Hex will be the stop shop. This will soak up all the resources from scammers, from those rug pulls. Yeah, absolutely. Magic carpet ride. How I made it, but I like Richard Hart. Those scammers will use Pulse as a platform to scam, just like on BSC. Yeah, that's right. So there's going to be a lot of those projects come onto Pulse. Some of them will probably be the first ones, right? So I would just avoid all those stuff, hourglasses, all those other too good to be true returns on those. I just avoid all those. It's probably smart. If you're new to crypto, keep away from all the returns that are too good to be true. Keep away from them. Pretty much the best play is typically just stuff like Pulse and Hex and things that are proven. Probably the best way to go. How he said. Yeah, I heard him say that too. Mike Marcus says, I suspect people will hold in an attempt to replicate the success of Hex. I agree with that. Pulse has no history. There is no way to predict tops or bottoms. Those who sell seriously risk buying and higher. That's correct, Mike Marcus. Very true. Player 500X says 50 some people watching, only 20 likes. Get on it, chat. Yeah, so smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. We are growing pretty fast on this channel, and of course we'll be covering Pulsechain for a long time to come. We're waiting to see as much of the gamification that comes out from Richard Hart as we can on this journey. My Pulsechain is a journey, and of course it's going to be pretty epic. So smash that subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell for more videos, of course, and share if you can. And if you want to join as a member of this channel, hit that join button. We've got Axionites, Elites, Heroes, and Krakens, and get and support the content of this channel, because it's going to keep coming thick and fast. Going to be a lot of fun. And How I Made It says, damn, 3 billion. Let's go refresh. We're up to 3 billion, folks, happening live on the screen, live at the moment. We are getting the OA wallet has decided to move since the last 6 hours. The OA wallet has, at different intervals, has been adding to the big bags there. Pretty amazing. We're over 3 billion US dollars. Remember that EOS, when it did its raise, did an incredible record-setting 4 billion, and that was over 1 year. So look at here, we've got here over $3 billion now sitting in market value on the Sacrifice, and of course we're up to 23.9 billion hexes so far sacrificed. It's all coming from, of course, the Sacrifice address, and it's coming different wallets. Let's go back and check the actual amount that's up here. Let's refresh this. We're up to 3.77% sacrifice to the liquid amount. Of course, that's not how we describe it when we're talking about individual investors. It's the Origin wallet. We're down to 557. Yeah, it's about probably about right, 550. And I think we're at 574. I'm just trying to remember that now. Let me go to. I've closed down the other site there. But you can see if I hit on the sacrifice, you can actually see the big white slither there. It's pretty massive now that it's 3.77%. It's hilarious. So this is high drama, folks. This is the moments. These are the moments in the Pulsechain history you remember when you look back on the sacrifice phase, especially if you've done well in the project. You'll be going, oh, I remember the days when the sacrifice addressed basically pump the capital raise. You got to think of this like a capital raise, right? So this is what can be sent around. People go, hey, look, they raised $3 billion. They raised, whatever amount. And then, of course, this is going to the more dollars that are sacrificed, the more Pulse coins that are going to be out there. Remember, it's going to be a flat rate, 1.75 on this one. So interesting that it shows that time when there's a flat rate, and obviously $1.98 per 10,000 points. So it's going to be weighted a certain way. Obviously, it could go quite high. They'll make it higher. The sacrifice could sacrifice even more because that way they'll increase the amount of points, and really that percentage of points, what's it going to be, 80%, 85, 90%. So we'll find out in the wash when it comes to the end. Pretty interesting. How I made it, we're going to have Shiba supply at this rate, lol. Yeah, that's true. What price do you think Pulse will hit the market at? Sacrifices are supposed to get the best race. Well, hey, we were talking about this. Originally I had some good numbers there, and we were talking about quadruple 043. I think was the cost price, but now it's completely changed with the OA going in. So I have to go back to the spreadsheet and rethink about that for sure. Hey, Frosty Dog's in the house. Hello. So yeah, we're expecting maybe the cost price, whatever that would be, and then you have to price it up after that. So we'll see. How I made it. I'll probably do a video on that thinker. I'll have to just give me we'll wait and see how it closes today, and we'll have some numbers we can think about after that. Yeah, because 100x was going to be 0043, but those numbers all changed now with the big sacrifice from the Origin wallet. How I made it says those crypto riders getting better, get riding on this project. Absolutely. So I think Pulsechain is going to be hard to ignore. Obviously, Hex they can ignore, even though Hex is super successful, got the best chart in the last 18 months. But they can Pulsechain is going to be hard to ignore. Also, good chance some exchanges have to put all the P copies on their chains, on their things. So it's a lot of work if you think about it. But we already know that nomics.com is going to do a P, put all the Pulse equivalents on there, so it's going to be interesting. I think that even if you get like half a dozen, maybe something like that get valued up really well on Pulsechain, that's quite successful. So we'll look forward to that as well. And once again, we said it was interesting that Wise got actually put on the sacrifice list. That was pretty interesting. And you know that not that much is going. There's not actually that much liquid on the Wise. There's a 5%. So you know that there's not much of that's going to end up in the actual sacrifice. So it's quite interesting to see how that plays out. It's actually, I think we might even have it on here. Let's let me have a look down here. If there is Wise, it's 9 pages of sacrifices. So we'll have to scroll through here. Probably could do a search. There's a search on there. Yeah, probably could do a search, but let's have a quick look. Maybe it's better to do a search. I do a search, but then I don't want to lose. Don't want to lose anything. Let's see if we can find that. Yeah, Wise. Okay, so only 300. So next to nothing. 123 bucks. Got added late, remember? But there's only so far. It just says this. There may have been more in there, possibly, but it's I think a lot of it gets turned into US dollars. So not exactly sure which tokens are exactly the stored tokens in there. But yeah, that's it at the moment. So interesting. All right. So we're back at the total there. 3 billion. Still at 3 billion. Let's refresh that. Looking pretty good. Now where am I up to here? How I made it. Do you think those large buys are from exchange? No, they're not large buys. If they're, it's just from the liquid amount from the sacrifice address. They've got all the top in Hex, all the top sacrifice addresses except for the top one. The top one was a sacrifice address, and then all the rest of them are just Origin. Well, the vast majority of them are Origin wallets. I think that there were 1 or 2 from Overwatch and other, maybe a few other very big accounts. But I'm not sure whether they've sacrificed all of their liquid stuff into the sacrifice address. Be well worth watching actually to see if we actually went in here, and I think this is the Overwatch one here, and how much liquid Hex they've got left. I'm not sure what they Hex. They did 186 million. I'm not sure. I understand that they do have billions of Hex liquid, is my understanding, but I haven't confirmed that. So it'll be something to confirm. But that's the address there. You could probably check that. Let me have a quick check. This is just a random check, really. We'll get out of here. This is the sacrifice address just on the Hex chain. You can see the Hex there. It's got all that supply in there. We'll go to holders. We'll check this wallet and see whether it's got any Hex in it. It's still got no. So this particular address has only still got 14 million Hex left in it. So 1.7 million. So that was a bit of a dud on that one. Let's go to this again, and this is the sacrifice address. I'm back here again. So moving around a bit. Wow, so impressive, eh? We'll copy that and let's go back in here and put this back in, and so we can watch some of the sacrifices. Now, how long is this going to continue on for? Really determine. They obviously know how much, have an estimate of how much of the pulse supply that they want to be able to control, as it were. So still climbing. 23.9 billion hex sacrifice so far, 2.8, and we're looking pretty amazing there. Let me refresh this as well. Our prices hex is actually moving up at the moment. So let me go back to there. Sorry, moving around a bit. Let's go to the hourly candle on the hex, and we'll go full screen. So actually getting a bit of a move up there. So like I said, I think, in the last couple of hours, I thought it could move up to 12.5, 13 cents, maybe even slightly higher. Just depends we were doing there, because you are going to get a move at the end. And we've got 1, 2, 3, 4 hours or whatever. So we'll expect to get a bit of a move up there. It could do something really crazy too and overshoot at the top. Could have a nice big push at the end, and then possibly a sell-off after that. People think, hey, we've got a gap between the sacrifice now and the and the public testnet / fork. The fork's really the big next price mover, because obviously everyone's going to want to have coins to copy over to Pulsechain. So it's probably the next high price expectation. Business 2K says EFOX, PFOX. Yeah, that's true. I like that. Original address is moving coins around, you said. Sorry, I'm just tuned in. Yeah, Frosty Dog. Yeah, but it's been a massive sacrifice. And I think we're up to jumped. We had about 3.25 billion in there approximately in Hex, and now that has moved up to 23.9 billion. So another 20.6 billion has been added, which is coming from the origin address. So they're getting a very large percentage of the Pulse coins, and that's what we expected to see. Was that the move at some stage? Of course, they have moved, and obviously the last day was the most likely one. But of day 16 would have been interesting too. All right, so Tom, what will happen when ETH 2.0 comes out? Does Pulse have some upgrades? Yeah, interesting. I'm not actually sure about that. So yeah, I'll check to see whether there's any comments on that. But that could be some time away, right? Because they've got to do all the sharding, and then they've got to do docking of ETH 1.0 to ETH 2.0. So we'll see how that goes. They'll probably just keep up with the upgrades, I imagine. Mike Marcus in the Pulse Telegram chat. Some people are happy with the higher market cap. Some are less happy. Would you mind sharing your thoughts on why the recent actions of the OA is a good thing? Yeah, well, Mike, the reason is because it's a concentration, just like Hex is a concentration of ownership. So it actually helps to get you a big market cap, and that bodes really well, pushes you up to the top. Also, but market cap by itself does nothing. It's just a vanity metric. But on the positive side, you actually can get the liquid amount down to much lower. And of course, you can end up on this side. Of course, it's probably going to end up staking it as well as the validators. There's going to be about 33, 35 validators. So it's going to stake a lot of that. The other side of course, this is like a capital raise for a company. And so when you have a company do a capital raise, the bigger the capital raise, the more impressive it is in terms of the marketing. So that's going to be pretty cool. Like I said, EOS is about 4 billion, and now this is looking, over 3 billion or so. So it's going to be good for marketing wise. Yeah, so but really it's about that concentrated ownership part, really. The other side of course, it's got the US dollar amount, so we're just waiting to see how that plays out. So still a few unanswered questions there, Mike. We'll have to just wait very closely and see. SKB says, do you think we will see mainnet this quarter? So what are we now? August, July, August, September. Possibly at the end of September, probably mid-September. Maybe what's the 3rd of August? Maybe beginning of September at the very earliest, but probably late September is my guess, because we're still waiting for the public testnet to comes out, and I don't know how long that's going to last as well. So we're waiting. 30 to 60 days is the current time frame that we have for that one, for the public, for the mainnet to come on. Frosty Dog, what will T share prices on PHEX start at? The same. They're all going to be copied over. Frosty Dog. SKB, do you think we will see Pulsechain mainnet this quarter? Hey, just answer that one. Hey, SKB, stop trolling my chat. Nice one, SKB. All right, how I made it. RH said about 45 to 60 days after SAC. Yeah, so I agree with that one. How I made it. Hex Curious PLS is beating ETH 2.0 to market. It has better design, better throughput, deflation, etc. Yeah, I agree with that. Hex there, Curious. And concentration of ownership, I like that phraseology. Says Hex Curious, yep. And absolutely, and how I made it, yeah, he explained it well, and which most non-educated about it will call him a scammer for it. That's true. And Hexgear says I made that's fine. They can FOMO in at higher price. Yeah, it definitely helps with the high. It's going to help with the higher price overall. Now it's just some of the secret sauce, some of the stuff up Richard's sleeve that we don't know, and so we'll wait and see that. But this is one of the hands. This is what if Richard had a poker's hand, this is one of the cards that's been played, and it was one of the more probable ones, because if you're going to look at the pump mentals hex, then it's kind of was one of the scenarios that we have been painting for several weeks, and interesting to see that. How I made it, yep, lol. And PUSD, do you have a Discord or Telegram server? Um, I'm not sure. Can you give me PUSD? Can you be a bit more specific? I am on Discord. Hex Curious, hey, bottom line, guys, do not bet against his Hexcellency. That's probably right too. So good thing, as you say, in Hex, if you look at Hex, the best place was to just hodl, and people that keep trying to trade, it's actually much harder to do. So that's probably the case there. Now, I think the utility, of course, okay, it's up to 25.3 billion now. Look at it, it keeps flowing in, folks, from the Origin wallet. Just keeps flowing it in. Now, any individual would love to just have one of these wallets, right? 110 million, a million hex. Any individual would just love to have that. And there's only very few do, of course, but pretty amazing. And look at 25.4, it's just continuing to climb. Remember, it's going to get 10,000 points plus a 1.75 multiplier on the US dollar equivalent sacrifice amount. So that's pretty interesting. All right. All right, so that's looking good. We're just timing that. I'm going to close this page now. We've got sacrifice just under 4 hours, folks. If you're going to make a sacrifice, that's the case. And of course, the market price there is heading towards 12 cents. So we'll see how high that gets in the last couple of hours as well, and then possibly a sell-off. Although that said, of course, the sell-off in the short term, right? The short term, obviously, there's going to be there's less hex around now in the liquid market. I'm not talking about the sacrifice address, which we already know had for about 544 billion approximately, based on Gunther the accountant's numbers. But the fact that in liquid amount there was only about 27 billion that had been, some of that had been sacrificed to the sacrifice address, making it even less. We start off at 27 billion was like 4.8%. That would move it down to about 4.3%. And of course, stuff coming out of the stakers has been something like 750 to 1.25 billion, and so that increased that a bit amount. So maybe 4.5% amongst individual investors. So I ignored the Origin wallet. Just think about the individual investors, and so that's overall that's good for the fundamentals a longer term, and especially with more stakers and more wallets and more staking. That's making the fundamentals even better longer term. Obviously, with Pulsechain going, it's going to add some interesting dynamics to it as well. Obviously, when you get a p-hex on the p-hex side, it's going to be pretty interesting. All right, Vishnu Canal. If I sacrifice, can I get today $1 for 10,000 points? No. If you sacrifice today, you are going to get, let's go, you're going to get $1.98. It's going to cost you for 10,000 points. So it's basically it's like getting 5,000 points for $1. You're going to get just over 5,000 points for $1. It's $1.98 per 10,000. And your multiplier will be 1.75. So $2 will get you 10,000 points, and then 10,000 times 1.75 is the total amount that you'll have. So 17,500 points is what you'll get for $1.98 at the moment. That's how that's going to work. So we're at the end, folks. It is the end. So I couldn't resist, of course, doing the last day. I have done every day, to be honest, but I couldn't resist doing the last day. It is pretty epic, and it's once again the journey is just part of the fun, not just the end game. The big X pumps and all the rest of it that we're all looking forward to, but the journey is fun too. Now, if you're at the Hex sacrifice, doing the Hex auction transform, that was pretty fun at the beginning. I think there was 1 billion tokens on day one. There was huge FOMO on Ethereum on that day. I can't remember now. Was it 23 million, something like that? 23 million, 23,000 or something like that. ETH or something. Can't remember the exact number, but somewhere like that. It was pretty exciting times. and of course then the next day 500 million, and it slowly just kept going like that, decreasing just very fractionally every day. And it was a lot of fun just watching that journey. But that was 350 days, so it was pretty long. And of course, then eventually there was cycling in that as well to make it match, not only accumulate OA wallet tokens, but also to match the market price. Often would be a price maker, and that would allow whales to come in, and then that would be topped up to almost par the actual market price at the time. So it was interesting dynamics there. So what we're getting at in Pulse, interesting. Now, obviously, all the sacrifice stuff means that the validators, how many of those will Richard want to run out of the 33, 35 to keep the network up? Now that he has controlling, we'll have the controlling amount of Pulse there. Going to be pretty interesting. All right, we're up to 26.5. It continues, folks. It continues at 3.3 billion. Nice one there. And don't forget, it's going to cost the Origin wallet $1.98 for 10,000 points. So you're definitely getting double the better deal at the beginning if you sacrificed in the first 5 days than the Origin wallet is. So how high is the Origin wallet going to go? Because it's going to give a big market cap, and there's many hours to go. This is going to be fascinating, folks. Is it going to get up into 5 billion? Is he going to try and beat EOS in the total dollar value raise? And then that would make record. That's my guess, is that he's going to beat $4 million US dollars, $4 billion US dollars. I think he's going to try and take the title of EOS is the way I'd see it. That'd be, you'd have that in the history books. You see, Richard likes to be in the history books, and we like to join him in the history books as well. That's pretty much it. So this if he gets it over 4 billion, man, he can go spread that around for sure. Very cool. All right, it's got a couple of comments here. Let's quickly, you guys see the PLS page on CoinMarketCap. Let me just go to that in a minute. Let me go to CoinMarketCap. Oh, CoinMarketCap, sorry. CoinMarketCap. Let me pull that up. So you put on Pulse. I'm hardly ever on CoinMarketCap these days. There we are, Pulsechain. I presume it's the real one. So there we are, folks. Market data untracked. Ethereum fork with delegated proof of stake validator shook 3 second no mining. So forth. So there we are, folks. That's Pulsechain already sitting on CoinMarketCap. Presumably it is the official one. Yeah, so pretty cool. Nice one there. Thanks for that, Hex Curious. And Hex Curious, I can't paste in the URLs, but search Pulsechain, CoinMarketCap. Yeah, cool. How I made it, 3.2 billion now. And yeah, it's amazing. How I made it. This is enough money to buy a few Epstein Islands, including all the budget. Hopefully not how I made it. Hopefully not. Yeah, let's not get into that, but that's not a great topic. Brishnu says today is 19th days. It is. It's the last day. Day 19 of the sacrifice, Brishnu. And SK, join the flippening. Yeah, join the flippening indeed. That's the other thing, right? Pulsechain flipping ETH, and that, man, that's going to cause a wave. So it's lots of stuff ahead. It's got sort of self-fulfilling, right? So that's self-fulfill itself. So I think it's going to be pretty epic. And everyone wants to go on to a cheaper chain, a faster chain, and own your keys. Hey, that's pretty amazing. So it's going to be fun times. Finally, says Business 2K. It's going to happen, says Business 2K. It is. Damn, all those small buys are FOMOing in the last hours. Yep. And Hex Curious, insane amount. I love centralized ownership. The OA will make sure the market cap is high and the price remain competitive. Get on board. Yeah, nice observation there. Hex Curious, the C3 Week says RH is not known for settling for number 2. That's absolutely right, C3. That's what I said. If you want to be part of history, you join Richard Hart. His Excellency doesn't like to finish second. Hex Curious says, yeah, that's right. I love some of those nice phrases there. Enjoy the Magic Carpet ride. Obviously, nothing on this channel is investment advice. You must do your own due diligence and only provide information and entertainment purposes and so forth. So, all right, so there we are with 3 hours and 46 minutes to go. We have got awesome thing happening here on the live stream. We've got up to 3.5 billion. He's definitely going to try and take EOS out from my point of view. Why would you go this high and not keep going? He obviously, remember, once again, the sacrifice address is getting it's going to cost them almost $2 for 10,000 points. So people that enter the sacrifice phase near the beginning definitely doing better. So people can't complain again about that, I guess. And that's why he said get in early and big. And that's the case. And of course, here we are at 3.5. So to beat EOS, of course, 4 billion is what he needs. So he needs to breach that in the total sacrifice amount. So what's he going to go for? 5 billion, 4.5 billion? Just needs to be higher, and once he does the published number, that's going to be great for marketing, great for market cap, great for price appreciation. It all sort of self-fulfills itself. Very cool. And of course, validators, with staking validators, obviously he'll be able to pretty much, if you wanted to, you could take all positions on the validator list, see whether he does that, and then he'll earn fees on all the validators list, basically. And when I say he, I mean, the sacrifice address. All right, that's pretty cool. All right, so looking good there, folks. And let's refresh this as well. Having fun here as well. It's going to be going good. 28. Oh my gosh, 28 billion hex, man. Oh, so 25. Just under 25 billion of that is the Origin wallet. Is the Origin wallet sacrificing its hex to the sacrifice address? Hey, and then of course Pulse has its own Genesis address. So there's a few players now in the concentration game. So pretty hilarious and looking good there. All right, so it's continuing to go for sure. Pretty hilarious stuff. Have I got much of my coffee left? I got a little bit left. And we're up to 4.69% of all liquid X of all total X has been sacrificed now. 4.6, and you can see it's looking pretty big now. Obviously, staked is still the same, 60.49 and 544. But once again, this it's just going from the OA wallet to the sacrifice address. So it's just it is what it is. There. All right. We were expecting it though. It's funny to see it when we were talking about it. I was saying nonstop in previous videos, what's he going to do with the concentration bit? Because he always has to have the concentration. It's just the main game in the fundamentals. And so yeah, here we are. Here we are. It's all happening live. It's pretty cool. Pretty cool indeed. C3 Weeks is Richard Art. Try. I'm not sure. Yeah, no try. Just do. No try, just do. How I made it, so it's confirmed all the sacrifice monies is leaving the OA to sacrifice. Yeah, but ultimately it's it's Peter paying Paul type thing or whatever. It's rug push. Yeah, Frosty Dog is rug push. Yeah, it's the magic carpet ride. Says it's Saul Goodman. It is the magic carpet ride. The rug push is another good one. There, rug push. Yeah, nice one. All right, so looking good at 4.6. We are going nicely, and let's have a look at the market price. 11.76 cents, so that's up to. Yeah, Nomics looking 68. Around 67.69 billion, and of course it's now showing on CoinMarketCap. Interesting. And it's on the watch list. 73 watch lists has already put it on there at the moment. So I don't actually use CoinMarketCap. Haven't used that for a long time. Pretty much I just use CoinGecko or Nomics.com, depending on what I'm using it for, because of the gatekeeping on CoinGecko. Plus, often a lot of the market, the data I find on CoinMarketCap is just slow to update. Or plus, they used to have all these scamming ads on there. Used to have all these crypto scamming ads that people would scam people with, and just coming through on the Google stuff. That was pretty bad. I don't know whether they've shut that down now. Hopefully they have. It was pretty bad. Business 2K, woot, and how I made what's it, 3.6 billion. Yeah, nice one. And yeah, that 4 billion is going to get flipped. RH has big ambitions, absolutely, and it is huge, right? You can say you've got the biggest one in the history there. Pretty nice. Let's do a refresh. We're having fun here, folks. Hope you guys are enjoying the last day. This is the last day of the sacrifice phase. It won't happen again. We're up to almost 3.8 billion, folks. We're climbing, and 30.35 billion hex in the sacrifice. Yo, 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 yo! Party time! Party time! Party time! I should have got a streamer for this live stream. It would have made sense. Could have blown the live stream. Although it's pretty noisy through the mic. Probably sounds like I'm shouting now, even though I'm trying to talk at a normal level. For sure. Sometimes I do get excited. People know me on this channel. I love it when all the action happens. Action Jackson. Pretty cool. Yeah, we should get a bit of a price push here. in the last couple of hours. It's just be interesting to see what it does after that, whether it keeps going up or whether it does the typical sell-off. But like I say, ultimately there is, with all the individual sacrificing, there is less hex around now, and so that's over time that will be a good thing for price support, price fundamentals as well. All right, let's go back here. Let's see whether, I don't know if Richard's, let's see if Richard's put anything out about this. Richard Hart Twitter. Let's go. Very nice. Let's see whether he's done something new. Let's have a look here. No, nothing new there, folks, at the moment. I imagine he'll probably start tweeting soon. Towards the last couple of hours, he should start tweeting soon. So keep a close eye on to that. I should do a live stream too. I'm expecting him to do a live stream as we close out as well. We have only got 3 hours and 40 minutes to go because it's still enough time to have some lunch, stuff like that. So very cool. And Business 2K says we are making history. Absolutely. How I made it. It's crazy to think Richard Hart is doing this himself. He did partner with some large company. Yeah, well, I think there's he's got himself, and I think he's got some other pretty big money influencers around him. That and I think Overwatch is one of those. That seems to be pretty clear. So yeah. Don't forget to smash that subscribe button, folks. Hit the likes, and of course, hit the bell for more videos. And yeah, get into it, folks. Share if you can as well. Share. We're having fun times here at the moment. So yeah, going good. All right. Business 2K says, I know, right? This is awesome. It is awesome. So let's see how we're going. So I'm probably going to go for another 4 minutes. I'm going to then end the live stream for lunch, but I'm going to do a special live stream for the close. So we'll probably come back an hour before the close on this channel and cover the live stream for at least an hour and a half, both before and after. So I hope you guys are going to come back and join me for that. And Vitso, is this the Axion YouTube channel? Yeah, so I'm a community promoter for Axion. So this is Axion is the main topic of this channel, but I also cover Pulsechain, and I also cover other cool DeFi like Aave, Celsius, and stuff like that. So pretty cool. Hey Blanche, now we know why Richard had so many computers in this room. Yeah, probably. They're trying to set up the servers for the testnet. I'm hoping a testnet comes out this week. I really do hope that would be very good timing. So I'm expecting it to come out by the weekend, hopefully. That would be very good. And I'm just not sure how long it's going to run for. Whether it's going to be a week, 2 weeks, a month. I'm just not sure how long they're going to run that. Haha, yeah, all VPN. And cool man says Vitsatso. Yeah, very cool. How I made it, cools man. We'll see you in a couple of hours. Thanks for all you do. Hey, appreciate that. How I made it. I do love it too. I'm enjoying the ride just like you guys. So it's a lot of fun. And yeah, I'll do a live stream then. But of course, if Richard does come on at that stage, may not do the live stream. That's the only exception. Obviously, if Richard does that, then there'll be thousands and thousands of people watching Richard Hart channel. So there'll be no point in me covering it. But we'll see how we get on. He may do a live stream after the close, which is not too bad. Then I'll definitely do a live stream in the hour before, and we'll go from there. Pretty awesome stuff. Now I noticed that on his live streams, he's pretty much doubled his audience on his live streams, which is fantastic. That's very cool. And of course, the Pulsechain Telegram is really big now, bigger than the Hex one. But that all feeds. It's a feeding loop, right? Feeds back around. So that's pretty cool. Business 2K says, thanks, man. No, you're welcome. Let's quickly do a quick check before I just sign off, and I'll catch you guys later in the day, most likely. Obviously subject to what Richard Hart does at the time, because it is a big deal, and I'm sure he'll do a live stream to cover the excitement. Almost 4 billion. I might wait until we hit 4 billion. Let me just, I've got to see this on live stream. I might wait till we hit 4 billion. 3.981. We're almost at 4 billion in the market cap stuff. Definitely going to flip EOS is happening, folks. It is happening. But how high is he going to go with it? And obviously, it's going to translate into Pulse tokens. And is he going to go for 95%? Is he going for 90%? I haven't, it's probably up there in the big numbers, 90%, 95, something. Remember the 5% golden rule? We'll see whether he gets to that as well. Yeah, some interesting stuff with this. Has implications. All right, let's quickly check the actual Hex page. And yeah, up to 32 billion sacrificed now. And remember, that's about 29 of that is the OA wallet. And it's climbing in value. Wow. Just waiting to refresh this too. Oh, it's so close to 4 billion. Vitso says, I have Hex and Axiom. Do you think Axiom will hit X levels? Axiom will do its own journey. Axiom has its own journey, but there's some very exciting things coming up for Axiom over the next 3 to 6 months. But it's definitely going to do its own thing. And of course, there's only one Hex. There's only one Pulsechain. So take that into account. What I like is I like the very best crypto. That's the only ones I really look at, and so that's how I'd put that. And so they all have their own journey. How I made it, 3.9, billion, amazing. Wow, says Business UK, absolutely. EOS was 4.2. Yeah, thanks for that, EOS 4.2. Nice one there. So it's definitely going to try and beat the 4.2. I forgot it has got a 0.2 on there. Nice one there. And I think CZ FOMO just in case. Yeah, that'd be hilarious. All right, so we'll just refresh this. Come on, 4 billion, you can do it. I was trying to do that on the live stream before I finish because I was going to finish about now. So we'll see how that goes. All right, so I might just finish there. We are pretty much going to go over 4 billion from the looks of it. So exciting times. Hey, once again, Frosty Dog, thanks for all your hard work. I keep pushing forward. Only about 60 days to go. Absolutely there, Frosty Dog. Hey, everybody, thanks for watching, and I will be back on later in the day, subject to a Richard Hart live stream. And if I do, it'll be about an hour before the close. Cover Up says it's about 2 a.m. in the UK. Boy, you're going to be up all day, are you? You're going to go to sleep and wake up in a couple of hours, maybe 3 hours. See how you get on. Wow. I'm going to refresh how it made it said just hit 4 billion. Let's have a look. How I made it said, see you, man. Thanks for watching. Let's refresh this, and we could end up the live stream on 4 billion. Yeah! Yes. Congratulations, everybody. This actually it does self-fulfill itself. Exciting stuff. Let's see where we get to. We've got a little while to go, and 3 hours and 34 minutes. I'll be back probably in about 2.5 hours, something like that, and we'll see how we get on. And we'll also check Richard and see whether Richard's going to do a live stream at some stage as well. All right, take care, everybody. Cup it up. Many sleepless nights and lazy days this month. Absolutely cup it up. I believe that. And yeehaw, lol, says Business 2K. Oh, nice one, folks. Catch you later. Subscribe, like, share, hit the bell, and I'll see you in a couple of hours. Cheers.